And it's a busy morning as we are combining forces. We have not only Wake Up Central, but the 5 News crew together this morning covering everything across the state. And parents, listen up this morning because of the expected impacts of the storm. Some Arkansas school districts are canceling class or dismissing early. Here are just a few listed on your screen. This list will probably grow throughout the day, so just make sure to check with us for all the latest information.
And we are joined now by meteorologist Garrett Lewis from our sister station in Northwest Arkansas, who will be updating us on Hurricane Laura all morning long. And Garrett, what's the latest?
Well, we're still watching the hurricane track closer towards Arkansas. Some of those outer bands have been rotating in and spiraling around the low. These lows spin counterclockwise, and their stretch goes for hundreds of miles away from the center of the low. And we've really been influenced by the hurricane as early as probably about Tuesday of this week. But we're really going to see the strongest winds throughout the course of today. Here's a look at live radar showing you what's happening across the area. We are tracking some rain showers that continue to make their way to the north. And over the last hour, I'll put this in motion here. You can see it lifting northward. As far as live radar goes, we're tracking showers currently located in and around portions of Fayetteville in towards Fort Smith. Looking at some radar, let me clean this up a little bit. There you go. Around the Fort Smith area, you can see some light to moderate rain showers from Waldron through Mansfield and Greenwood. Those are moving north. Those showers should pick up right around Ozark. And we're also getting some rain around Lincoln into Johnson, some light rain showers around Rogers. In the central part of the state, the rain showers are slowly picking up. You can see some rainfall just to the west of Little Rock, some light drizzle around Hot Springs. That's going to continue to track north, but you really get into the heavier showers farther to the south. So we can see those bands that are moving in. I'll clean this up a little bit more for you and then zoom out so you can see how this hurricane is going to be tracking towards our area. Over the last hour, the track has been moving more towards the east and northeast, which would put it close to the Louisiana-Arkansas line sometime around lunchtime today. But you can see some of those outer bands that are starting to make their way closer to Pine Bluff. We'll have some of the rain showers around Monroe, Louisiana moving north, and then we'll start seeing the higher wind speeds pick up along the central part of the eye wall. The eye wall right now located just to the west of Alexandria, moving north into central Arkansas. And throughout the course of the day, these showers will expand in coverage, and we'll see more and more in the way of rain, not only in central Arkansas, but eastern Arkansas as well. And that's why the rain chances and the rain totals throughout the day could cause some flash flood warnings later on. We're looking at rain totals that probably top out somewhere between 2 to 4 inches. In some cases, an isolated amount, maybe upwards of 6 to 7 inches in central and northeast Arkansas. Notice northwest Arkansas is not going to see as much rainfall as the southwest part of the state, stretching from Texarkana to Monticello, then back to the northeast around Stuttgart and the West Memphis area. We'll have a look at the extended forecast coming up and an hour-by-hour look of what to expect where you live, no matter where you live across Arkansas.